What are you doing? Like... Hello and welcome back to the channel. As you may notice, there's nothing on my face and my hair is up, like, which never happens, at least not on film. So there's a petition apparently going around for me to start doing makeup videos again, and well, while I have no plans to come back as the traditional beauty guru that I once was, I was thinking of possibly incorporating some for Sunday videos, which are more personal, more laid back videos, but I wanted it to relate to what I do and not just be, here's a makeup tutorial. So I got inspired by a good person on YouTube, Samantha Ravndahl. I've been watching this woman for years. She is a makeup artist on YouTube, and in real life, we met at IMATS before. She actually recognized me, and I will never forget that day. And she did a video recently titled How I Do My Makeup Then versus Now, and basically it was half of her face with the makeup that she used to wear, and the other half would be the style that she wears now, and I thought that was really cool. Although I must say I'm not going to do it exactly like that. My whole face now is going to be how I do my makeup now, but recently I have a video with colorful makeup. So, background story. I used to be a beauty guru on YouTube for a couple of years, and I was really into colorful makeup. I was known for a very big winged black eyeliner and a lot of colorful makeup, and since then I've just been not doing that so much. So I wanted to give you a little more insight on how I do my makeup now. If you are not yet subscribed, I'd love for you to do so, so make sure to click that subscribe button down there and hit the notification bell beside of it. And if you are interested in my content, if you learned something from it, please consider being a pledge on Patreon. You get exclusive content for as little as $1 a month, so I will have that link down below as well. So now, let's get to it. So I've already got my face moisturized, and since it's summer and ridiculously hot, I'm gonna use the Colourpop All-Star Matte Blur Primer. So I used to use primers a long time ago, and then I stopped using them because I felt like they didn't do anything. I think it was RawBeautyKristi that made me want to steer away from primers just in case, just to try it out, because she also has dry skin, and it's fine when it's like spring, but now that it's summer, I'm finding that it doesn't really work very well. See, I live in very humid, muggy, wet, sweaty North Carolina. She lives in the Pacific Northwest, so it makes more sense for me to have a primer on. So a long time ago, I went back and forth between using foundation, and then I would only wear concealer because I was absolutely terrible at finding a foundation match. So I would just wear concealer, and also I just didn't like how heavy foundation felt, and sometimes I would use tinted moisturizer instead because then I felt like I hated how uneven it all looked. I thought I looked weird. So now for the last like a year or 2 years I've been using foundation, and I have 2 shades of the Too Faced Born This Way because one is too dark or it oxidizes, which means that it makes me orange. So I was trying to find a lighter foundation, but I know that this is too light on its own, especially right now in the summer, so I mixed them. Sometimes I get that good shade, sometimes I don't. It's okay. And I used to wear that on its own, which is fine when it's not as hot, but now it's so hot. So instead of buying a brand new tinted moisturizer and wasting more money, why not just make your own tinted moisturizer with your foundation and your moisturizer? There's no reason to buy a new one unless you're stinking rich, which I don't even make the monthly YouTube threshold to get paid every month, so I shouldn't do that. So I'm going to take this e.l.f. moisturizer that I just bought. I'm actually trying it today for the first time. I have it on now. Seems fine. And I'm going to do about 2 pumps. And then I'm going to do more of Porcelain, the darker shade, because I am closer to that shade than I am not. And just a little bit of Swan. I have really bad under eye circles, so I had the Becca under eye brightening corrector, which I bought because of Sam Ravndahl. So way back when, I did not really use any corrector. I don't know, I just always looked like a panda. I never really did anything for them. And I always thought, wow, all these concealers suck, you know? But no, I think it's really just the fact that I didn't have anything to correct. You have to correct your problem first before you can cover it up. And I take a wet sponge. This is from Real Techniques. I was using this sponge for the longest time, and then I went back to the Beauty Blender because I thought it was better. But the Beauty Blender was a whopping 20 bucks. So you see it's brightened up a little bit more. And now I'm going to mix this little experiment that I have. This looks like so much product, which it is. But because it's mixed in with moisturizer, it should feel thinner than if I just used the foundation on its own, which it does feel a lot thinner already, just me mixing it. It doesn't feel like the traditional, I have 2 pumps of foundation mixed together. But I'm not going to use the sponge to blend this out. I'm going to use the Smashbox blurring foundation brush. Why did I buy this? Who did I buy this? Who gave me the idea? Shelby something, who is also a makeup artist on YouTube and in real life. She lives in Tennessee. And she talked about how she loves this foundation brush. So I wanted to try it. I mean, I like this brush. I don't use it on its own because I do find that I still get streaks. So it's not perfectly blended, but it's doing most of what I want it to do. So now I'm going to take that sponge and just press it in and make sure it's really like just put together. So just a heads up, I use natural light, so what it looks like on camera may not be what it looks like in real life. A lot of the time, because the window is right here, my face looks 3 times lighter than the rest of my body, so my problem area is my nose. Foundation always just leaves my nose no matter what. And now concealer. I just like to match the foundation that I use. So this is the Born This Way multi-use sculpting concealer. Also, I have 2 shades. Who's using way too much concealer? I'm using way too much concealer. So I'm just taking that, and first I'm going to blend it with a brush. Now I'm going to take my sponge again. Okay, the Snow White paper effect cannot keep happening. So now powder. It is summer. So when it's colder, I just really use a setting spray, but I think just because it's so hot, it's so sweaty. I'm just going to take a little brush like this. I used to bake, or whatever sad attempt at baking that it was, and it made my face so heavy. And it works for camera. In real life, it looked horrible. I have dry skin. I can't be baking. So I just put it where I really need it. So even though I have dry skin, I do get sweaty in the summer, and it usually happens in the T-zone. So basically I've gone from what used to be a really, really heavy foundation concealer, powder really pressed into more of a natural finish by including more moisturizer than foundation, using way less powder and using a fluffy brush instead of really a sponge to pack it on. Oh, by the way, this is the Cover FX Perfect Setting Powder. Really nice. And it's in translucent light. Alright, now we're going to move on to eyes. So, as you know, as I've already stated, I used to do a lot of colorful makeup. My favorite brands ever were like Sugar Pill, because they are known for the really bright colors. And I still love Sugar Pill. I just no longer own it except for a couple of lip colors, and actually that's it. I don't really have the energy or the time anymore for the massive colors, the massive bright colors, because they do take a very long time to work with. They take more finesse. Now I just really like more of the neutral colors. I do have some color in my collection, but it's more toned down. It's not like really bright neon. First, you gotta prime your eyes if you have really greasy eyelids like me, and this is just the NYX one. I have this Wet n Wild brush. You know what? If you are vegan or cruelty-free like I am, let me know how you feel about the whole Wet n Wild controversy. I am disappointed, and then they said that they were still cruelty-free. And PETA was like, but PETA, well, we say they're cruelty-free, and everybody's like, well, PETA says so, but I don't trust PETA at all. But then there's that whole thing where they were still obviously like lying about their status and lying about selling products in China. So, I mean, I'm still going to use the products that I have because it's a waste to throw them out, but... So now that my eyes are primed, I would like to set them with a powder. You've seen this quad before. This was once my only eyeshadow quad that I had owned. Now my collection has grown a little bit again, so it's getting rid of most of it and then really being minimalist. Still have this, and I'm trying to hit pan on this skin tone shade right here. Now I just like to do a light dusting of that. I hit pan! Oh my god! Look at that. I hit pan! That's so exciting! Thank you for being here with me for this moment. I appreciate you. So, in terms of eyeshadow, I have one very, very colorful palette that is not Sugar Pill, and it was a gift. I don't really use it, to be honest. I use it very occasionally, like for that bisexuality, LGBT pride video that I did. And then I just had that little quad. But then, admittedly, I started getting back into the makeup eyeshadow palette hole thanks to Colourpop. So I have a little more than I would like. And then in my mind, I started gravitating more towards single eyeshadows than making your own single eyeshadow palette, because what I noticed is when you buy pre-made palettes, you're not always using every single color. So you're kind of wasting money. So when you make your own palette, you are picking shades that you know that you will use. Even if you don't use them all the time, you know that you will eventually get use out of them, versus maybe buying a palette that's 12 eyeshadows and only using 3, and then the remaining 9 are untouched, and it's a waste of money. So I do have many Colourpop eyeshadow palettes, and so what I've been trying to do is I'm rotating them now. So last month I was primarily using their new spring eyeshadow palette. This month I'm using their Yes Please, which is more of a summery yellow-orange palette. But I'm not going to use that today because it isn't what I would normally gravitate towards on a regular basis. But here is my eyeshadow palette. This is the eyeshadow palette that I created more so as a travel palette, one that I would definitely use while I was traveling, and I wanted it to have multiple options, so not just something like this, which is just as efficient and just as good, but it's for eyeshadows. Like, sometimes I want a little extra something, you know. So this consists of mostly Colourpop. This one and this last row here are colored Raine, so I wanted to really try those out. And this is my palette, and I've been gravitating towards just more neutrals, like a really light wash of gold maybe on the lid, and then on the crease it's mostly really light browns, just something really quick and easy. But of course, you know, I still do have some of the darker ones just for when I really want a little extra something, and sometimes I like to play around with my makeup still. I have this really light brown shade, and we just put it in the crease. And I just really like these light colors now because they're just so easy to put on. You don't have to be perfect at blending. That's an issue that I have. I'm not really a great blender, to be honest. I don't think I am. So with light makeup like this, you don't really have to worry about it. Let me see if I can't zoom in for you people. Is that okay? Wow, I look so white. Does that look okay to you? If I do more makeup videos in the future, do you like this? Let me know. Well, I should take another brush and just really feather that out. This is from Milani. Most of my brushes are Real Techniques and Wet n Wild and Milani. I used to buy MAC brushes a lot, and then MAC stopped being cruelty-free. I honestly miss the simplicity of MAC, but they are no longer cruelty-free, which makes me so sad. I miss them. I really do. I miss it being my birthday, and then I get so excited to go to the MAC counter at Nordstrom at South Park and buy a lipstick or an eyeshadow. Alright, now I'm gonna have this gold shade. I just really love Colourpop now. I like how affordable they are. I used to look for the expensive palettes, always looking towards Urban Decay, which Urban Decay is a fine brand. There's nothing wrong with them, but they are expensive. Alright, and then I just take that brush that I used the light brown on and kind of blend these two together. I think I might go for something a little bit darker right now, just to give it a little bit of depth. Alright, you know what? I'm going to use one colored Raine because this is the one darker brown that I have in this palette. And just give that a little something. Whoa, that's a little too much something. Wow, I said that's a little too much something. You know I changed in my makeup taste when I no longer want boom boom pow on my eyes. I mean, sometimes I do. but not all that often anymore. That seems okay. And then just to make sure I got it light, take that same brush that I had that Anastasia shadow on. Actually, I just realized something. One of these shadows is Anastasia. That one. I bought it at TJ Maxx and I have yet to use it. Alright, so that's the top of my eyes, and I basically just do the same thing underneath. And then the last thing is taking a very light sparkly eyeshadow, something like this. And that's going to go in the inner corners to brighten up my tired eyeballs. Okay, so my apologies, but my camera battery died, so I had to do the rest of my eyes off camera. You may notice something really big right now. You may have noticed this in the past couple of videos, but if you're new, if you haven't been here for a while, eyeliner isn't really that big of a part of my routine anymore. Now, if I tend to wear really dark eyeshadow, I do kind of put eyeliner on sometimes just because I feel like it balances it out better, especially since I don't wear false lashes, I just wear mascara. But now I love it. It will always be a part of me, and I think it makes me look a little more badass. But I just don't have the spoons for it anymore. My little disabled, chronically pain, fatigued butt does not have the spoons for it anymore. So now I just use mascara. And right now I'm using more waterproof. This is actually sweat-proof mascara because it is so hot. This is the CoverGirl Lash Blast Active. CoverGirl is now cruelty-free. Also, we have... What are you doing? Like... So for my brows have never really been that different. I used to leave them unruly, and then I really got into the habit of like shaving and shaping, and honestly I hated that so much. And now for the last few years I've kept them as unruly as can be. I've gone through different phases of how I do my brows. I've done eyeshadow, I've done pencil, I've done just gel. A couple of months ago I was just using gel, but now I seem to be using both a pencil and gel. This is the NYX Micro Brow Pencil and Brunette. On top of that, I have their tinted brow mascara in the same color. Cool. Okay, so now we move on to the face. I used to be a strict powder person for one most of the time. I only really wore blush and highlighter, and I used to also be really heavy on the blush. Sometimes it would be a really heavy eye and blush. Other times it would be like no blush and eyes, or just more blush, no eyes. I'm kind of whatever about it. I try to be more on the natural side, if you will. I also never contoured because, quite frankly, I've always never really understood how to do it. But my face is rounder, I've gained some weight, so I thought maybe contouring would help me out. So I've been contouring a lot. I don't think I'm doing it very well, but you know, I'm practicing. However, now that it's summer and I'm trying to go more towards the, once again, natural, take a shot for every time I say natural, of whatever beverage you drink, alcoholic or not. So I've been going more towards cream products because I think they suit dry skin better. They do because they're not dry. And I just got this butter bronzer from Physicians Formula. It's in the latest shade, and smells like coconuts. Makes me feel like I'm on a beach. So I'm just gonna take the same side of this brush I use for foundation. Let's go. So I kind of do it the same way that I'll contour, except instead of doing it right in the contours, I'm trying to do more. You want to do it more on your actual cheeks because you're just trying to give yourself that natural sun-kissed glow where you want a guy or a girl or, you know, just your everyday human being to fall in love with you, which I will. You know, everybody used to talk about doing that 3 on your face. So, alright. This is my second time using this bronzer, and so far I like it. I don't really have any problems. I think I definitely picked the right color, it being in a lightest shade. I think the second lightest would be also okay, but this one seems fine. One of the things I'm really trying to practice now is using a lighter hand with everything. I am still so used to just going to town with anything, eyeshadow, blush, foundation, contour, and it's much better to start small and build up than it is to, like, just go to town. And I think I'm doing alright so far with this. That seems fine, and I smell like a nice coconut. And now I have cream or liquid blush and highlighter. I have for blush this e.l.f. cream blush stick. This is the only one I have. It's in glistening peach. I don't wear like really hot pink coral blushes anymore. I really just stuck to the more natural shades. So I got this new, like, this is brand new. I bought this like 2 days ago. It's from Real Techniques, and it's a blending sponge that is supposed to be specifically for highlighter and blush. So let's see how this works. It feels way more gritty than the regular sponge. This is more soft and velvety or silky or whatever. This is like almost like those cleaning sponges, but not as scratchy. Which honestly, you probably wouldn't need this if you just have the regular sponges, because really, if you're using cream, you know, it's whatever. Maybe it's just the texture. Like, the texture of the sponge is supposed to make it easier to blend these types of products. Okay, I think I see why they made this. Okay, actually maybe this does blend out the product more than the regular sponges, even the Beauty Blender. The texture of it definitely grips onto, you know what, the foundation and the cream blush are definitely like different textures. So cool. Alright, you know, I like you. I found this at Target, in case you're wondering. Now for liquid highlighter, this is the Milani Strobe Light in number 2 Day Glow, and so I put way too much. You know what? I am going to glisten. That's gonna be a little bit too much, but you know what? So let's try this for highlighter. So I like to highlight my Cupid's bow. I pretty much the same with the highlighter. Sometimes I use liquid, sometimes I use powder. I actually just bought a whole blush and highlight palette that I created with the singles from Colourpop that I would use for travel. So when I have options, if I'm just taking a really quick like 1 or 2 day trip, it's not something for me to worry about. But say I'm gonna go see my boyfriend, right, and I'm there for about a week, you know, I like to have options, so I just take the powder palette, and also I don't have to worry about the liquid rule. This is really nice. I thought that this would be gimmicky, but I understand it. Alright, and now for lipstick was my kryptonite. Lipstick was my weakness. I bought so many lipsticks. A lot of nudes, a lot of hot pink, and then I really stopped wearing lip products all the time. And then recently, as I got kind of stuck into the Colourpop, I kind of started wearing lip products again, not as often, but at least if I were to film, I would try to put one on. A long time ago, I was really into lip gloss when I was younger, you know, when you're in high school, and then when I started doing YouTube, I was more into lipstick, and then liquid lipstick started coming out, and everybody was fawning over them on YouTube. For me now, I just don't really like them anymore, which is unfortunate because I actually just bought not too long ago some new ones, and now I'm like, but why? I really like that they are long lasting and they're really potent, but I have such dry lips, they don't work so well for me. Now I'm gravitating more towards regular lipsticks, and also I like lip gloss. I don't like a whole lot of lip gloss, but there's one in particular I really love. Also, I like easy sheer lip colors now. I'm turning into Samantha Ravndahl, basically, which I'm fine with because I love her and I love her face and just her. I'm gonna try this lipstick I got from my boyfriend's sister for Christmas. This is from Winky Luck, and it's a nude. Oh, that's nice. That's really pretty. It goes on really nicely. It's actually really nice, and it's very cute and small. So it probably looks a little strange on its own for me, but that's why we top it off with a lip product, another lip gloss, and this is the Fenty Beauty lip gloss in Fussy, and this is the only one that I have. It's pink, and I really want to try the first one that came out, the Rose Nude. I wasn't sure if I would like that color on me, but I really like the formula. I don't like lip glosses because they're so sticky, but when Sam said that this was great because the formula just felt so smooth and it wasn't sticky, I wanted to try it, and I'm very happy that I did because I really like it. And there we go. Voila. And I'm growing my bangs out because it's summer, so why not? I feel like I look silly with longer bangs. I don't know how I like them on me. I don't know. Ooh, my hair looks really nice. What is this? So yeah, this is what my face looks like now, and this is what it looked like a lot before. Definitely a major difference. In terms of face, I feel like I have much more makeup on my face compared to what I had before, but this is mostly because it's for the camera and not so much in person. But in in terms of like eyes and whatnot, I'm pretty sure it's just because I'm getting older. Back then I was like 23, you know, I was very much in my early 20s, and now I'm in my later 20s, and I'm just really into like keeping it simple, and sometimes I do like to amp it up a little bit. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. I would love to do more videos like this, like for example, a routine when I'm at work, like when I'm doing a public speaking event, like something like a YouTube conference versus a school or more business CEO type of setting, fancy pants deal, a camera ready routine, things like that. Let me know if that's something you're interested in for the more laid back Sunday type of videos. I've also considered maybe doing like get ready with me's and just chatting about life. It's just trying to find different various content things to do. If you would like to help translate this video, I would very much appreciate it. Always helps out, and I will leave a translation link down below for you to do so. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it, and I will see you later. Bye.